Connor Garland calls game in overtime as the Canucks beat the Oilers 3-2 at Rogers Arena to close out the preseason. This is Rink Wide Vancouver. We welcome you inside the Rink Wide Vancouver studios in downtown Vancouver. The studios, a presentation of your Toyota Pacific dealers. ShopToyota.ca or your local Pacific Toyota dealer today. Rink Wide brought to you in part by Bet365. And Irf, I'm going to turn it over to you. The preseason?
It's absolutely over. O-V-A-H. Good riddance to the preseason.
Long gone is the 6-game preseason. On to the games that count. And, of course, next year, exhibition season will be considerably shorter. But the Canucks go out on a high note. They win it in overtime. They hold Connor McDavid in check for the most part. And the city is buzzing about Jonathan Lekkerimaki. And why not a world-class one-timer on full display, not once, twice. As the Canucks down the Oilers by a score of 3-2. So yes, Connor Garland is the overtime hero. He had a nice night after picking up a couple of points the other night in his preseason debut in Calgary. Gets the winner. He also had an assist on one of the Lekkerimaki goals. But it's all about Johnny 1T. I'm going with Jonathan Electric Mackey. How about that? Does that work for you?
It's not bad.
All right.
That is not
We're
bad.
Workshopping.
I think we'll have a lot of time to figure it out.
Kid here to stay. I think he has cemented his spot. How could you not at this point? 3 goals in the preseason, all of them on a tee, and just making no mistake. He shoots it differently. He does. And you can't teach that kind of skill. And this is a team that has room in the lineup for elite level finishing, certainly. And so encouraging finish to the preseason for Jonathan Lekkerimaki and the Vancouver Canucks, who go 4-2 in exhibition action. That's the only time I'm going to mention the record because, of course, wins now don't really matter other than feeling good about yourself and getting ready for that October 9th season opener against the Calgary Flames. Lots to come here on Rink Wide as we break it all down. We'll get to our usual features as well. We got 3 stars for you coming up a little bit later on. We'll get the stat that stands out, and we will look ahead to some of these roster decisions that now have to be made with the rosters set at 2 o'clock Pacific time on Monday. So that's an important date to note. And then, of course, a few days after that, they do start playing for keeps. A fairly quiet first period in this hockey game. You talk about NHL lineups and dress rehearsal, and there was star power on both sides, and really there wasn't a whole lot happening, and it looked like they were going to go to the locker room after 20 minutes in a scoreless tie. But the Canucks had a power play, worked it around for 2 minutes, didn't score, and as the penalty expired, it's not officially a power play goal, but it's a goal that people are going to be buzzing about still for a while. As we've shown you the highlights already, Jonathan Lekkerimaki. Nice work by the other rookie, Braden Coots, to fight off Matt Savoy, and the goal doesn't happen if Coots doesn't win the puck battle and slide that over to his buddy, and the puck's not on Lekkerimaki's stick very long, and boom, to the back of the net. Yeah. Reminded me of Brock Boeser in his rookie season when he used to beat, remember, Carey Price and Henrik Lundqvist and these goalies that were like at the tops of their games in the National Hockey League, and Boeser would stare him down, pick his spot, and hit it. And that's what happened. That was top shelf, big time by Jonathan Lekkerimaki to open the scoring.
Yeah, we always talk about not getting excited about the preseason and tempering your expectations, but that's an NHL shot on an NHL goalie, and the release is ridiculous on him. The mechanics of the stick, there are very few people that can do that and do it at a high level, and Jonathan Lekkerimaki is now starting to learn how to do it, and if he can keep that consistency and work, is only going to get better with repetition. But you're right, Jeff, that play doesn't happen unless the youngster Braden Coots fights off the check and is able to have the wherewithal to be able to poke the puck to his teammate who's right there and obviously blasts home the game's first goal.
I thought Lekkerimaki's night actually started much earlier. You may recall in the first 5 minutes, off the rush, was able to corral a puck from Evander Kane, takes it through the neutral zone, and unleashes a shot from distance that Calvin Pickard's able to stop, but he doesn't stop it cleanly. Like, again, there's a different kind of zip on these shots that Pickard fumbled it a little bit, spilled a rebound out there, and that's the thing with guys that shoot. they can beat goaltenders cleanly, but a lot of times the goalie might get a piece of it, but it can be lying around for somebody else. And so, as I look through my notes here, there wasn't a whole lot there in the first period. Kiefer Sherwood got called for tripping on Connor McDavid. The Canucks were able to dodge that bullet, and we know that this Oiler power play can be absolutely destructive, and it did count. It did count for a goal later in the hockey game, but Canucks get out of the first period up 1-0 on the Lekkerimaki goal, his second of the preseason. All three of his goals here in exhibition play coming against the Edmonton Oilers. The shots were 10-7 in favor of the Canucks, and so again, there wasn't a ton going on. And really, even to the midway mark of the second period, like I noted 30 minutes into this hockey game, the shots were 11-10 in favor of the Edmonton Oilers. It took the Canucks 10 minutes to get a shot in the second period. Teddy Bluger with the first shot on goal just past the midway mark of the second period. And that was reminiscent of too many nights last year where they would go these long, long stretches without putting a puck on the net, test a goaltender. It was supposed to be Stuart Skinner getting the start, but apparently battling a bout of the flu. So at this time of year in the preseason, you're not going to run a guy out there if he's under the weather and not feeling 100%. So he'll be ready to go, I'm sure, for the Oilers on opening night. They open at home against Calgary on Wednesday, and then Calgary's here against the Vancouver Canucks on Thursday. So it's 1-0 past the midway mark of the second period, and then Kasperi Kapanen off the rush, takes a drop pass and rips it past Thatcher Demko, who, look, I thought Demko was terrific in this hockey game. If there was one that got past him, I guess maybe I'd look at that and say, hey, you'd like him to stop it. But he's not going to stop everything. These are NHL shooters. And he made an incredible stop off Evan Bouchard, who can shoot the puck as well, on the Oiler power play late in that second period. Rebound comes to Draisaitl. A little off the goal line. Not quite in his office, but still a familiar spot for Leon Draisaitl. Scores so many goals from sharp angles and made no mistake there. And can't fault Demko on that one. I mean, he makes the save that he had to make, and fortunate bounce for Draisaitl all alone at the side of the net. So, the Canucks were up 1-0, and then two goals basically 3 minutes apart for the Oilers. And they took a 2-1 lead to the locker room after 40 minutes of play. And so an uphill battle for the Vancouver Canucks, and a battle that they were able to claw their way back into, tie the game, and ultimately they win it on the goal by Connor Garland. So, when I look at the two goals that the Canucks gave up, I just want to go back to the Kapanen goal because I thought there were a couple of things of note there. One is it comes at the end of a long shift for Philip Hedl, Connor Garland, and Arshdeep Bains. It comes with the two youngsters on defense, DPD and Tom Willander. And if you remember, the Canucks had some pressure in the Edmonton zone, and Garland, from a really sharp angle, just kind of flings the puck on net. Unfortunately, it traps basically all three of the Canuck forwards down low. Edmonton breaks out on what's essentially a 5-on-2 at that point. And so, sometimes putting a puck on the net, we always try, put a puck on the net, things can happen, sure. But it's a low percentage play from where Garland was shooting, and sometimes some bad things can happen, and that is teams break out the other way. So, puck decisions, puck management, end of a long shift, and, again, you'd like a save from Thatcher Demko in that moment. Didn't happen. But, that tied the game. And then, as we said, Edmonton gets ahead by a score of 2-1 after two. Anything from the second period that jumped out at you?
Late stages of the period, the DPD kind of getting... It wasn't a dirty hit, I don't think, from Podkolzin at all. I think that, kind of just fell into it. I believe it was a concussion spotter, I think, that, pulled him out of the game for a little bit, and obviously goes through that concussion protocol, hit to the head, came back into the game, which was obviously great news to see that. But you just don't want to see that, obviously, for a young guy who's hoping to crack the NHL roster and be there and be on there on opening night. So the good news is that he came back into the lineup.
I made note of that. Tom Willander taking the holding penalty as well. It was not a banner night for Willander, and look, I think...
you just can't put yourself in that situation, though. Like, the call was... It wasn't a great call. It wasn't a great holding call. It wasn't egregious by any means on Willander, but you got to know those are things that you can't do at that level and give the opportunity for the referees to make that call, and obviously they do it against you.
No, and when we look at the night as a whole, there were some moments for Willander, but I think Victor Mancini probably sitting up in the press box thinking that, his spot you would think is safe on this roster, although I guess we'll find out on Monday afternoon. But, this was sort of a last-ditch effort for Lander, getting one last look in the preseason. I think he's destined for Abbotsford, and that's just fine. It's a totally fine place for him to start his professional career. All right, we'll get to the 3 stars here in a sec, but I just want to continue to run through the scoring plays. 5.5 minutes into the third period, the Canucks down 2-1. They are on the power play, and again, it's Jonathan Lekkerimaki in his spot. We call it the Ovi spot, but hey, maybe this kid's going to take it over himself as we show you the highlight there. And again, puck slides over to him, right-handed shot in that left circle, and bam, just pulls the trigger and ties this hockey game 6 minutes in, 5:58 the time of the goal. It's a thing of beauty. It really is. I mean, the mechanics are there. It's a timing thing. And as we said, it looks and feels, and, when I watch them in practice, it sounds differently. They can all shoot the puck at this level, but there's something special there on the blade of Jonathan Lekkerimaki, and it was on full display in this hockey game.
Are you ready for it? You and I are going to sit here a lot of nights and be fist on the table as to why he's not on PP1. And I know people are going to clamor for it, and I know our chat's going wild about it, and I agree. I'm here. I am with you. That threat that you have, and if Elias Pettersson has any sort of threat on the other side, it changes your power play so much. It makes it so much more dynamic. Evander Kane, Jake DeBrusk, and Brock Besser, similar type of players. They can all get in front of the net. They crash and bang and score those goals. But having those two shooters, both on opposite sides, letting Quinn do his thing and be able to look one way and feed it the other way, it just opens up so much more room for creativity. So you hope to see that. It's probably not going to happen, but you never know.
Yeah, look, I remember when Quinn Hughes broke into the league. I mean, he played the 5 games late in the season. Then his first full season, we all knew that he was going to be the quarterback of the first unit of the Vancouver Canucks power play. And Travis Green at the time was a little slow. He did his best to slow the roll here. He knew, too, that Quinn was going to be the mastermind of the power play, but Alex Edler had the job. Alex Edler was the incumbent, the veteran guy.
Money guy.
And it took about a month, and then we saw this transition. And so if Lekkerimaki can continue to do a lot of the good things that we saw from him in the preseason, I'm with you. I'm with you, and I'm with the people. We are here for the people in the chat. It may not happen right away, but if he continues to score like that, it's undeniable that you got to find him, as you said, that spot over on the opposite side from Elias Pettersson.
I also think playing power play, some of it's a reward too. If you are playing well, the power play 1, the power play 2, it's a little bit of a reward. So like you mentioned, if you can, bottle what you did good in the game that wasn't on the power play, you forecheck well, you don't get scored on when you're on the ice, you play well defensively, then coaches are more likely to be able to put you in different positions and reward you for your good play with power play time.
So 2-2 stays that way. There were chances. Evan Bouchard rang one off the crossbar at 2-1, in fact, and that could have changed the complexion of this hockey game if he scores there to make it a 3-1 game. Matt Savoy raced onto that loose puck down the left wing, cut hard to the net, and Thatcher Demko able to stuff him there. Archie Baines off the rush a few minutes after that at 2-2. Had a pretty good look. I think he may have hit the post. The linesman was waving it off. Never really got a great replay there. And then it's 2-2 in the third period. Canucks get a 5-on-3, and you're thinking golden opportunity. Why do some teams make it look so easy, 5-on-3? And it just feels like the Canucks are so slow and plodding, and I don't know, is it too much deferring to Quinn in those moments? Or
I think the other 4 guys on the ice might just be as excited as everybody else and watching and waiting for Quinn to do something instead of reacting and moving and getting open in space in order for Quinn to find you. And you know what's going to happen when Quinn Hughes gets a puck. He's try and beat one guy, go down low, skate an entire circle because he is almost always the best skater on the ice. And on the power play, for sure he is. So a little bit more movement, I would say, very early on. But again, if you can't look one way because you know your guy's not going to shoot on one side if you're Quinn, then you really only have that one threat of Elias Pettersson on the other side, which I'm going to bang the drum again for at least Jonathan Lekkerimaki to get a shot on opening night.
So 5-on-3 goes for naught because the full Evander Kane experience, just a needless penalty in that moment.
Unfortunate, yeah.
But get used to it. He's going to take penalties. That's part of who he is. So hopefully not in third periods of tie games with the Canucks working with a two-man advantage. But bottom line is it goes to overtime. Fascinating that the Canucks spent some time out at UBC on Thursday working on full ice 3-on-3. And I can't remember the last time the Vancouver Canucks actually put some time into practicing overtime. So who knows? Maybe Adam Foote and the coaching staff, a little crystal ball, an idea of what was to come. Remember last year, they were 7-12 in overtime. They lost, at one point, 8 straight games that went to overtime. Overtime was not their friend. So,
we were here a lot of those nights.
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you're putting in a little time, we'll see if that continues through the regular season. It was the only time they've done it here in camp and exhibition. So it wasn't a regular thing, but I do wonder from time to time if we'll see them do it. And hey, it worked out okay. Connor Garland weaving his way through the neutral zone, peeling back, getting the pass from Phil Hronek, and again, finding a lane or creating a lane, getting it to the net, and able to deposit it in 90 seconds into overtime. The Vancouver Canucks defeat the Edmonton Oilers 3-2 is the final score. Rink Wide brought to you in part by Bet365. Whatever your bet, never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app, get in on the game, use code NATION to get you started. And a reminder, you must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly. And I want to mention as well, our Super Chat charity partner once again this season, the BC Mental Health Foundation, changing the face of mental health and addiction by supporting breakthroughs in care, public understanding, research, and knowledge exchange. Hugo Mugo, as consistent as they come. Another Super Chat. Hugo, thanks for that. We need the Lekkerimaki duo in the regular season. Luck and Dangerous. Thanks for the show. We got another Super Chat. This one from Demko's Knee Bones. Says the Swedish snail EP 4 kilometers an hour is concerning me. Yeah, we'll get to Elias Pettersson and his night here. We'll go through a full evaluation of just about everybody in the lineup. But right now, it's time for the 3 stars here on Rink Wide. We always like to see who the stars were selected by the broadcast crew in the building. Lekkerimaki, Draisaitl, and Thatcher Demko. So 2 of the 3 show up here on Rink Wide as well. We've got Lekkerimaki, we've got Demko, and come on, Connor Garland scores the winner. He had an assist as well. He led the Canucks with 4 shots on goal. So I thought a fine night for Connor Garland, who was playing catch-up after not playing until Wednesday, but he looks ready for the regular season. Thatcher Demko stops 25 of 27 on the night. You can see on the screen there a .926 save percentage for the night, so that will work. His first game at Rogers Arena since last season. He played in Abbotsford, he played in Edmonton, and here you got a chance to play at home, and I thought he was really good. The save that he made on Trent Frederick in the dying seconds of the second period when he was set up by Draisaitl, that was a chance for the Oilers to go up 3-1. That one might have been a backbreaker. We talked about the save off Savoy, the save off Bouchard on the power play again. He can't stop them all, but that was a big-time stop by Thatcher Demko, who, you've heard me say it on this show, on other shows when I've made guest appearances, kind of low-key, but to me, this has been one of the best stories of training camp for the Vancouver Canucks, is that their game-breaker in goal looks happy, he looks healthy, he looks dialed in, he looks big in the crease, he's moving easily. He's back to doing the things that have made him one of the best in the business, and that is so encouraging as they get ready to start the season here on Thursday night.
And one of the things about Thatcher Demko that I think that he is taking very much to heart, he's going to play with a chip on his shoulder this season. Look, without question, the criticism is fair because he's been hurt a lot. Injuries have followed him throughout wherever he's played. But I think this past summer, was probably one of the few, in the last few, where he was able to go through a fully regimented workout plan. Trainers, nutritionists, did whatever he wanted, and there was nothing that went wrong. And I think that for him, coming into this season, he knows what everyone's saying about him. He knows that, he knows that Kevin Lankinen signed an extension and why the Canucks did it, right? And I think for him, in order to get back and play a little bit angry, you kind of want that. And for you, being able to deal with him more on a consistent basis, when he's speaking and things like that, there's more of that maturity. There's more of that leadership role. I think he's grown a lot through the experiences that he's had over the last couple of seasons. And you expect him to be there every single night and be their ace that they hope that they can rely on most nights.
I thought he was good in camp. I mean, you're just watching a couple of days of drills, but then the scrimmage, he doesn't give up a goal in the 20 minutes that he played there. He looked good in Abbotsford. I know the Flames didn't send a particularly representative group that night, but again, those were the shooters that he faced, and outside of a power play goal by Connor Zary, he stopped everything else. He goes 2-1 in the preseason, and he's got to get through every night. I mean, there's still the health concerns around him, but it's now been 2 full weeks of camp and preseason, and outside of the personal day that he took the other day, and whatever that was that kept him away from the rink, he was back at practice yesterday and playing tonight. I just think right now he looks sharp and ready to go, and he was a second star here on Rink Wide, Jonathan Lekkerimaki. No surprise, he ends up being the first star in the building. Also, here on the pod, you look at his night in totality, Lekkerimaki, 13 minutes and 38 seconds of ice time, scores on 2 of his 3 shots, so efficient in that regard. But he's a volume shooter, and you like to see him have 3, 4, 5 shots on goal, or 5 or 6 shot attempts at the very least. Here, all 3 of his shot attempts were on the net, and 2 of them were in the net. So, if it was about leaving the coaching staff with, lasting impression here in the preseason, Jonathan Lekkerimaki knocks it out of the park. 3 stars, brought to you by Greta Bar YVR, and we are excited to be able to tell you, next Saturday, it's our first Canucks Army watch party of the new season, Vancouver and Edmonton. It's the first road game of the season. Come join us. We're going to be there early on. Sakaris and Price, Quads and Harm, Jacob, our producer, we're all going to be there. Now, we have to get back here to the studio and get ready to watch the game and then host Rink Wide, but we'll be down there. Doors open at 6, and the game, of course, will start at 7 o'clock. And we want you to join us. It's a free event. Yeah, free. As in, tickets are free. You're going to be responsible for anything you order off the street food menu or any of the arcade games you play, but there is no cover charge, no ticket cost. You do need a ticket, though. Sign up at nationgear.ca so that we can keep track of who is on the guest list. Big screens, game day drink specials, trivia with great prizes. Join us for the first Canucks Army watch party of the season, October the 11th. That is next Saturday. Greta Bar, the place to be, 50 West Cordova. Greta Bar, let the games begin. 3-2 in overtime. The Vancouver Canucks defeat the Edmonton Oilers. Down comes the curtain on the preseason, and it'll rise again Thursday night. Rogers Arena, the Flames are here. We'll see if the Canucks can get it right this time. Remember last year, opening night, they had the big lead early on and then flushed it in the third period, ended up losing in overtime to the Calgary Flames. So Canucks will try to get out of the gate and get off on the right foot this time around. All right, we talked about stars here, but let's get into some of the other performances. It really wasn't a night for the superstars. Connor McDavid has an assist on the power play goal by Draisaitl, but it's the second assist. Otherwise, just a single shot on goal for McDavid. It's preseason. He'll be okay. Something tells me he'll be all right. Draisaitl scored, but took the penalty for, they're already down a man. He takes the helmet off Elias Pettersson, puts his team down 2 men. He had some moments. There was one in the first period where he fell on Quinn Hughes along the sideboards, and I just thought to myself, that's the last thing Quinn needs in the preseason is Leon Draisaitl dropping on top of the Canucks captain, but he popped up. He was just fine, but it's a Canucks post-game pod, so let's look at the Canucks, and we'll start with number 40. There was some hype around the one-timer the other night. That's been replaced by somebody else's one-timer now in this market. This was an awfully quiet night for the guy wearing number 40.
Yeah, quiet, but just like we've said about 97 and 29, it is the preseason, and I think for Elias Pettersson, unfortunately for him, the criticism and the jury's already out on what he's going to do. So anything that he does is going to be a bonus because everyone thinks that he's not going to be able to do it. And I think for him, going in and playing with that chip on your shoulder, a little bit of swagger, a little bit of anger is something that he needs. I really do. You didn't see much of it in this final preseason game, and that's okay because you hope as soon as the puck drops on Thursday night that there is a spark, there is that something that can come alive in him, and that's what we're all waiting for. And whether that happens game 1, it's better happen within the first 5, I'd say, or at least within the first 3. There has to be something there early on to give himself an indication, to give his teammates an indication, because they're all waiting and watching too. He's the highest paid player on the team. He's a guy that's a leader now, 26 years old, on and off the ice, right? You see his head coaches and his assistant coaches talking about how happy of the leader that he's grown into. Okay, so you got to lead by example. You got to take a game over. These are things that you have to do, but we've seen you do it in the past, so that's why everyone, I guess, is criticizing you so hard.
Thomas Mueller was in the building.
He was waiting for Elias Pettersson to do something too.
Exactly.
Oh, Leon Draisaitl, sorry. Yes, German.
Yeah, there's that. Clay Thompson was there. The stars were out on Friday night, but maybe more star power in the seats and the suites than actually putting on a show on the ice. So, look, Pettersson, there was the one rush in the third period where he cut to the net and made some things happen. And but really, that's about all I've got from him in my notes. So, yeah, it has to be better. There have been some signs through camp in the preseason, but starts earning that salary on Thursday night, and he's going to get graded harshly until he shows that he's somewhere close to all the way back. I didn't think it was a great night for his line mates either. I thought DeBrusk was skating, inspired maybe because Dad was in the building working the Oilers broadcast. I saw the Canucks posting pictures of Jake and Louie before the game, having a little chat. But that top line for the Canucks, certainly at 5-on-5, I didn't think made a whole lot happen. Now, it was a fairly low-scoring game, so it wasn't like they were trading chances and going back and forth. And as we said, shots were 27 apiece. So a little more low event, I think, than I had anticipated just for the final dress rehearsal of the preseason. Filipino continues to intrigue me, Irf. That there are moments in every game that the speed is undeniable. As long as he stays healthy, I think there is a chance that this guy can help this hockey club and makes things happen. Now, ultimately, who are his line mates going to be? Archdeep Bain's got a golden opportunity to play on that line, and I didn't think did much with it, as we said, for Archdeep. No shots on goal, had a couple of attempts. Was on the ice for the Kapanen goal, was looking for more, was just looking for sort of more the offensive push. You're getting this chance to play on one of the top 2 lines. I wanted to see Archdeep Bains buzzing a little bit more around the puck and trying to make some things happen, and just didn't see it. I don't know if the coaching staff will see it differently, but I didn't think this was a terrific night at the office for Archdeep Bains. No,
and I think the AHL is a good spot for Archdeep Bains. I think that he's been given a lot of opportunity. He is still young. I mean, people are going to compare to what Jonathan Lekkerimaki did, and I know the opportunities that you're given, the power play is different, but Lekkerimaki wasn't skating, in a top 6 role. He gets the power play time and he makes the most of it. Archdeep Bains gets more ice time, and he's unable to create anything offensively. And I think that that's the biggest thing that the coaching staff was looking for from Archdeep Bains was there something offensively? Is there anything more offensively that you can give us in this lineup where we can throw you in that top 6 role? And unfortunately for him, this preseason, it really hasn't. And that's okay, because you can be a good AHL player and come up and play in games and be effective. But if you're going to run and try and show yourself to be an everyday NHLer, you need to have these things consistently night in and night out. And unfortunately for Archdeep, it just hasn't happened this preseason. Just 11 minutes and 12 seconds. Yeah. So he actually did play less than Lekkerimaki. In fact, only D. Petey, who missed a chunk of action, played less on the night than Archdeep Bains, who was the low ice forward at 11 minutes and 12 seconds of ice time. So, yeah, there were some moments in preseason, not many moments in this hockey game for the local product. So we'll see what that means ultimately in the big picture and where it goes. But Braden Coots, again, we talked about the play that he makes on the power play in the first period to get the puck to Lekkerimaki into his wheelhouse. There were a few other things. I watched him closely away from the puck in the building. I was there for the first couple of periods to take it in person.
And, sometimes there's things you see that don't necessarily show up on cameras or on TV, or you're able to, track a guy away from the puck and those types of things. It was a really impressive preseason. This wasn't his finest night, but in saying that, he found his way onto the score sheet. He contributes. He makes a play. People wonder, is he strong enough? And then you see that he's able to win a puck battle and get it over to his buddy for the opening goal in the hockey game. So when I look at Coots' night on the whole, 13 minutes and 12 seconds of ice time, 1 shot, 2 attempts, won 2 of 6 face-offs, so went 2 and 4 in the circle where he had been holding his own and running higher than 50% on the draws. Didn't happen on this night. So how do we look at Braden Coots in this hockey game, and how does that impact what this club has to do with him now moving to Monday's roster deadline?
It doesn't look out of place. And I think that's probably the biggest thing when you look at, especially when judging someone that's 18 years old, Jeff, can he hold his own? Can he go and play in these games and not get lost? Not, be a deer in the headlights when you're lining up against Connor McDavid? Not, be caught puck watching and admiring your own pass and things like that. He's getting into tough areas. He's doing the things that he did to get him drafted as high as he went. The Canucks are really high on this kid. And people that you talk to in different National Hockey League circles are also really high on this kid. When they made that pick, a lot of people said that they really like that pick of Braden Coots. He's going to be a player. It's going to take some time, of course. If he's not here past 9 games, please do not panic. He is going to play in the NHL for this team because he is that good. And he has it not only on the ice, but the way that he carries himself off the ice. True professional, treats people respectfully, puts his head down and works, and that's all you can ask for from a young rookie who's just trying to, get his feet wet here in the NHL.
Suzanne in the chat says, what do you do with Coots now? You can't send him to Seattle. He's too good for that. Does he stay? I anticipate that he is going to be on the roster here when they roll it out on Monday afternoon, whether that means the full 9-game experience, whether it means a handful of games. There's a world in which he plays his 9 games and continues to look good, and they keep him past the 9-game mark. It's funny. We live in this world, Irf, where we see at the end of every season, teams are willing to give college guys a game or two to burn a year off a contract, and nobody bats an eye. So if this kid is helping the Vancouver Canucks, I guess I could envision a world in which you keep a player. Okay, 9 games is the first threshold where the contract kicks in. And, of course, the 40-game mark is a full year of service, a year off in terms of working your way towards unrestricted free agency. How about you keep him until December and then send him back to junior so that he can play in the World Juniors? I think that's a path. If he's in the NHL, that's obviously going to boost his stock for making the World Junior team. Because I think right now, didn't get to perform at the summer camp. It's a 19-year-old tournament generally. He's an 18-year-old. He was going to be in tough, but if he starts the year in the NHL and continues to develop in the best league in the world, I would think Hockey Canada would look pretty favorably on that if he was made available. So, look, lots of moving parts here. We're getting ahead of ourselves and worrying about December. He's got to get through the weekend here, but, just a really impressive showing from training camp on, and as you said, does not look out of place right now. So let's see. Of course, if he makes the team, it's going to squeeze somebody else.
If he makes a team, it's because he deserves it.
Yep.
And someone else doesn't. And I think that when you look at it from that point of view, he should be on the roster come Monday.
Hey, we're going to hear from Jonathan Lekkerimaki here in a sec. This segment of Rink Wide, presented by your Pacific Toyota dealers and the Toyota Prius plug-in hybrid. It's no-compromise approach to electric vehicles that offers the best of both worlds. You can drive up to 72 kilometers on battery alone. That's enough to get you from your home to the rink, to the grocery store, and then back home again to recharge. Seamlessly transitions from electric mode to the gas engine for a combined range of 962 kilometers. Yeah, almost 1,000 kilometers. There you go. No sacrifices when it comes to horsepower or style with its sleek, low, wide exterior and sophisticated interior. Plug in to recharge at home or at one of over 2,000 public charging stations in British Columbia alone. Now you can lease a 2025 Prius plug-in hybrid SE from $99 weekly at 3.49% APR for 60 months with $3,800 down. It includes a $3,000 discount. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Pacific Toyota dealer today. Star of the show, Jonathan Lekkerimaki, postgame down at Rogers Arena. Or?
Sorry, I need 1 second to get that loaded up, Jeff.
All right, no problem. Producer Jacob, we'll give you the time you need.
It's
all right, we are ready with Jonathan.
All right, let's hear from Johnny Electric Mackey.
It was a great win, a great battle from the team, and great win.
What does it do for your confidence to score a couple goals like that and finish the preseason off on a high note?
Yeah, I mean, feels good today, but tomorrow I gotta work hard to stay up here. So.
Coaching staff always talks about details and not worrying about necessarily the goals and assists, but in your position, do you feel like you need to score?
I mean, I want to be an offensive player, so try to, of course, score some goals, but obviously the details are important too.
Did you feel like it was a big night in the last preseason game, last chance before they picked the team?
No, just play the relaxed and try to play my games.
How much have you enjoyed playing with Braden Coots?
Yeah, we had a really good chemistry, so he's been really good, and so yeah, it's been feeling really good.
Seeing the puck going on your first one going exactly where I think you wanted it to go, is there an extra bit of satisfaction when you saw it go in?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's nice to score some goals, but yeah.
How comfortable are you on that left side? Seems like a spot where you've scored probably hundreds of goals in your life on that left side on the power play. What do you like about that spot?
I mean, I like to shoot the puck, so try to stay there.
He's a man of a few words. He lets his actions speak for themselves out on the ice.
Shades of a number 23, that a man of very few words that used to play for the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah.
And Alex Edler.
Absolutely.
But also let his play on the ice do the talking as well.
Yeah. Look, I mean, he's young. He's still sort of grasping, I think, the whole attention here in and around the Vancouver Canucks. And he understands, he's a first-round pick. He knows that this team obviously wants him to arrive in style and become a full-time goal scorer at the National Hockey League level. Again, nights like tonight, looks like he's ready for the job. We shall see. The Canucks have Saturday off. They will practice on Sunday, and then they're scheduled to have Monday off again. There's the preseason basketball game at Rogers Arena, so the rink, it's got a concert in there. On Saturday night, I think they're out at UBC on Sunday. Whatever the case, they'll keep them away from the rink on Monday, but that's when management has to make its final decision. So it's going to be a weekend of deliberating, and boardrooms will be busy down around Rogers Arena as they try to whittle things down to a 23-man roster. And, of course, the roster they submit to the league on Monday isn't the one that, or it may not be the one that they open the season with on Thursday night. That there is still time between the time you get your season opening roster in to opening day, and ultimately it's who's available, and there's a few injury concerns. A guy like P.O. Joseph right now hasn't been on the ice for the last couple of days. They would have a better idea of where he is in terms of health and readiness. Derek Forbert, they're going with load management and giving him some time to rest up, but he's going to be on the roster. Have these young guys done enough to put P.O. Joseph's job in jeopardy? I'm not so sure, but again, it was a terrific preseason run for Victor Mancini, who didn't play. It was a pretty good one for DPD, who, shaken up at his bell rung, but did get back in there. And Tom Olander, again, I just turning pro, coming out of college, it feels to me like Abbotsford is the place for him to start.
Yeah, Willander's going to start in the jungle. He should go earn his stripes and play a lot. Play power play, play PP, play in the top pairing, and that's how you get that experience. Harman Dow, when I did Canucks Conversation earlier this afternoon today, makes a great point. He said every team needs a veteran D-man that just is able to sit in the press box for a couple weeks at a time, and P.O. Joseph might end up being that guy if he is on this roster, right? You're gonna Mancini and DPD might be the guys that get dropped in and out, but P.O. Joseph could be the once in every 8 days guy, once in every 9 games guy, and that's okay if that's the role that he's comfortable playing.
Yeah, look, Noah Juleson played that role for the last couple of seasons. He's not here. He's in Philly with the coach that used to be here. And so, look, P.O. Joseph's got close to 200 NHL games under his belt, so he has played at this level. But but I think he understands, too, that he was signed as depth on the second day of free agency. And again, nobody quite knew what kind of push there would be from beneath. You hope that you would get the performances they did from some of these young guys, and so that's just made the decisions that much more difficult. And again, we will find out. We're going to hear from Adam Foote here in a second, but before we do that, I want to tell you that the Daily Faceoff Survivor Pool is now officially live, and if you think you've got the hockey knowledge to go the distance, then this one is for you. It's a game of elimination strategy and $2,500 up for grabs for the last fan standing. Here's how it works. You start with 2 lives. Everybody starts with 2 lives. Each round, you pick one winner from the slate of NHL games, but here's the twist. You can only use each team twice throughout the entire contest. Get a pick wrong, boom, 1 life gone. Lose twice, and sad trombones. You are out. The pool runs until there's just one person left standing, and that winner is going to take home $2,500. So are you ready to outlast the rest? Sign up now, dailyfaceoff.com, or hit the link in the show notes. May the best fan survive. All right, a little different down at Rogers Arena tonight. Not sure why. Maybe they're starting to move things around, but Adam Foote scrumming after a hockey game. Usually the coach at a podium there, but this was the coach stepping into the scrum to face the heat. I don't know how much heat was on him after this one. His team wins 3-2. Here's Adam Foote about the game.
I mean, it was a good game. I think both teams were into it. It was close, going back and forth. The guys were chirping each other. It felt like a regular season game.
How about Jonathan Lekkerimaki with 2 goals?
Yeah.
How impressed have you been with his camp overall, not just the offense, but some of the two-way stuff too?
Yeah, he knows how to take back ice and defend, not reading the rush. He knows when to wedge it, be more safe, or get into a guy. So, and he's got a very deceptive shot, almost like you saw the first one. He had that pause, like a longer, and he moved, and that's a goal scorer's goal.
Adam, you guys spent a lot of time on Thursday working on that 3-on-3. Did you see the things you're looking for in overtime?
Well, I like the way we bought into the discussion. Like we dragged it. We won the draw, which was key, right? And then we dragged it. Didn't have Hughes out there. We got him out there, and we were able to be more patient in our strikes and recognize to bring it back and maybe tire them out a little bit. And then, you put Garley in a good spot, and he's so slick that if you tire him out a little bit, he's going to find those cracks. And it worked, so it was good.
And your thoughts on the goaltending tonight?
It was great. I mean, the PK goal, no chance. We played the rush, not terrible. That one rush, we in the second period, we're playing against one of the best rush teams, and we got a little bit too excited on some offensive opportunities where our F3 was a little bit too low, and our reloads were missing a little bit. But we were able to have a discussion with it and bring it back. But on that one goal, it's a 4-on-2 rush. It's hard on 2 young guys. They didn't play it terrible at all, but you give a team like that kind of a rush, they're going to get a great opportunity. So,
Just on Lekkerimaki, is he doing a better job of finding his space, getting himself into spots?
he probably has always found space, but I mean, he's playing in a league now where, watching a lot of the American Hockey League, it's guys can hold on to pucks, and he's probably got open down there a lot, but no disrespect, it's physical as in the NHL, but the skill set maybe can't find him in that space as much. He's probably found it, and I think a guy like that, he just got a knack for it, and give credit to Brad, like pretty good power play, and the guys know where he is.
Once you reach the end of preseason, how surprised or impressed are you by the performance of Braden Coots?
Yeah, he keeps going. I mean, he got drafted in that position for a reason. He's a smart kid, and you guys just see he's hearing information and he's applying it pretty quick. I mean, there's a couple times in the first he struck down. He wasn't the first forward back on our end, so he wasn't low forward, and he went to act as the low forward, and we got caught in the rails. The slot was open a couple times, but quickly we explained it to him, and it didn't happen again. So that's a good sign.
Obviously, Connor gets the goal in overtime, but it seems like he's out there quite a bit from the first penalty kill unit. What do you think about him buying into that position?
He likes to kill, and he takes a lot of pride in it. I mean, he'll be killing, and sometimes there's different matchups as far as whether we want to start him first or not, and where he was with his minutes, and how he feels in back-to-backs, things like that. But he's doing a good job.
There you go. Adam Foote, some praise for Connor Garland, praise for Braden Coots, too. Tell him once, and he figures it out. And, again, I think that's what the Canucks love about this guy is the hockey intelligence is at a high level already, and it's only going to get better as he continues to get experience and process the game at this level.
Adam Foote, he did also say that Elias Pettersson was pulled by the concussion spotter and able to come back, so all's good there.
Let's get to the stat that stands out a little later than usual. I almost forgot about the stat that stands out, but it stands out, so you can't forget about it. It's preseason, I get that. There probably should have been an asterisk here with the graphic, but come on, 7 for 22 on the power play. The Vancouver Canucks, 31.8% with the man advantage. They end up going 1 for 4 on the night. As we said, the first Lekkerimaki goal came 1 second after an Edmonton power play, so really it was almost like 2 for 4 on the night, which would have bumped this number even higher. But that's pretty impressive stuff. There were some moments with PP1, certainly last week against Seattle when they were zipping it around, and you were encouraged by that. Lekkerimaki with both the power play goals here. So, they saw PD score his one-timer the other night in Calgary. Special teams were really good in the preseason. They had the 2 shorthanded goals the other night against the Flames as well. Does any of this matter? I guess we'll find out starting on Thursday. You have to throw the numbers out the window, but again, we've said the vibes are high, and I am curious, can they carry the vibes of a good preseason and turning the page from the disappointment of last year, and how far can that push them starting on Thursday night?
I think the vibes being high is important because you just know that the noise is very quiet, or there isn't any surrounding this team right now. Things are on the up and up. It's fresh, clean slate. It's, you had a good preseason. Everything went well, and now you hope you can build on some stuff in the regular season on Thursday. Jeff, I got a stat that stands out for me, and I didn't. 27.53 for Quinn Hughes.
Yeah.
That's insane in a preseason game.
Yeah, he had 24 last week against Seattle, and some people thought, what are you doing? And it's Quinn Hughes.
It's true.
That was his first preseason game. It was his first game action in months. I wasn't worried too much about 24 minutes for Quinn Hughes, but a little surprised here. Now, you got McDavid and Draisaitl on the other side, and there are some matchups that come into play, and special teams, and then, of course, a little bit of overtime as well. Interesting that Quinn didn't start overtime. Oilers came with their big guns, and they went with Filip Hronek defensively, but the minute the Canucks won the faceoff, and that turned out to be huge. Never gave up possession of the puck. The minute they got the faceoff, then Hronek went off, Quinn came on, but it was Hronek that ends up feeding Connor Garland for the winner. Hughes does get a second assist, so this wasn't Quinn Hughes at his electric best, and yet he's in on 2 of the 3 goals, including the game winner. That's just who he is and what he means to this hockey club. But yeah, for a preseason game, probably running them a little much, but you know what? They don't play now till Thursday, so they have tomorrow off, they get Monday off. Quinn will be ready. He's okay.
Here's a line that you're going to hear on Rink Wide a lot this season. It's just Quinn Hughes doing Quinn Hughes things.
Yes. The line I'm hearing a ton, and Adam Foote is using it, but he's not alone, is condensed schedule. It's not even a line, it's just a phrase, but it is a condensed schedule, but I think we're going to hear that so often in terms of goaltending decisions and
load management,
days off and load management and all that, because it's a condensed schedule with the Olympics coming up in February. So now it's on to decisions, and there's really nothing that any of these players can do anymore. I don't think Sunday's practice is going to sway the coaching staff and management, but Sunday's practice may reveal a few things about what the hockey club is thinking. If there are guys that require waivers to be sent down, they will have to be put on waivers on Sunday so that they're able to be sent on Monday to set that roster. So this is going to be a busy weekend around the National Hockey League. Look, this is a management group that has a history now of really 3 straight years of making some sort of trade ahead of roster setting. Last year it was offloading Tucker Poolman's contract for Eric Brandstrom, but Sam Lafferty was brought in. They have done this. They moved Jason Dickinson's contract to Chicago a couple of years ago, right at the outset of the season or the end of the preseason. So I'm sure they'll be watching the waiver wire like every team will. There are going to be teams that try to sneak guys through and hope that they catch the rest of the league napping. So it's a fascinating weekend, And when the roster or the waiver wire lists are released, expect long lists here over the weekend and probably some intriguing names. And we'll see if the Canucks are active at all, either on the trade front or in some sort of, if there's somebody on waivers that piques their interest.
The trade front would be the most interesting because you mentioned the last few seasons of them being active and being not afraid to pull the trigger, and that's what this management group does. So if there's someone out there that they liked or they have liked or they've kept their eye on, you heard Lucas Reichel's name being thrown around that they had some interest. I know the Red Wings, the Sharks, and I think the Oilers were another team as well that that piqued their interest there. But yeah, it's like you said, fascinating, interesting to watch. I think there are some decisions that were made on the ice that they don't even need to talk about, that they kind of knew going into this game were already there but wanted confirmation of it. And then I think there were decisions that are made in this game that are like, okay, now we actually have to sit down and talk about this one.
Well, Aatu Räty, Max Sasson, and Linus Karlsson all sit out tonight, and so you try and read into that, and part of me thinks, all right, they're giving Braden Coots one last chance. If the kid comes up short, you could easily take him out of the third-line center position and plug Aatu Räty right back in, but then Coots goes, and as we said, did a lot of good things in this hockey game. Archie Baines in your top six, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know what to make of Linus Karlsson's status. He had such a great run in Abbotsford in the playoffs, and you were hoping that he could carry that over, and he just has not been dynamic at all in the preseason, and I do wonder if he's going to, has he been outplayed by guys like Coots and Lekkerimaki, and will he be exposed to waivers? And, you can't keep them all, and that's the thing. Both Lekkerimaki and Coots could be sent elsewhere without any issues, but if they both stay, it puts the squeeze on some other guys. But again, this is progress. If guys from beneath push others out of jobs, it's survival of the fittest. You called it the jungle earlier, talking about the minors. Guys in the minors all want to play in the NHL. And so, you got hungry guys all over the place. And if you get your first rounders that have risen to the challenge the way Coots and Lekkerimaki have here in the preseason, then hey, good on them. If they make the roster, they have earned it. And if the Canucks decide to go in a slightly different direction, it'll come as a surprise to me. But all options are on the table right now. We'll find out. 2:00 Pacific on Monday afternoon is when the rosters have to be in. I would imagine they probably are in. I think they get released at 2:00 on Monday afternoon. So
you got to be in before that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll know mid-afternoon here on the West Coast what the opening night roster or the season opening roster looks like. The opening night will come on Thursday when the Canucks host the Calgary Flames. Hey, make sure you follow Rink Wide on social, particularly make a point of subscribing to the Rink Wide YouTube channel. We're a post-game live stream, and that'll continue, but this season we're going big. We're branching out. We're going to be posting far more from practice, a lot of game day content from the rink as well, videos, players, scrums. We'll let you see what's going on around the rink. So hit subscribe, set your notifications so that you do not miss a thing. All right. Well, the Vancouver Canucks head into the regular season now. Coming off a 3-2 overtime win, lots of nice individual performances for this hockey club, not only in this game, but really through all 6 of their preseason battles. And we've arrived at this point now. And so the next time we do Rink Wide, there are going to be points in the standings up for grabs. They're going to be playing for keeps. And opening night, so I love opening night in all sports. So I'm a bit of a sucker for the pomp and circumstance. I want to salute the Canucks for the job they did. Their pregame presentation tonight, honoring 30 years of Canuck Place. It was great to get all the people with their phone flashlights on. It made a great moment in there, and the work that they do at Canuck Place, remarkable when you think of the challenges of the kids and the families that require the services of Canuck Place. So 30 years strong. Good on everybody that has made that happen over the 30 years.
Absolutely.
Canucks wearing they were wearing the patch, and as I understand it, that's the original patch that they had on their jerseys 30 years ago. They've been in a drawer somewhere, and they brought them out. I don't know if they're there all season or if this was just for tonight, but those were the authentic original patches from 30 years ago.
That's awesome. Obviously, Canucks do a lot of great in the community. Saw Trevor Linden, Daniel Sedin in the video there.
Yeah.
Lots of great stuff, and they will continue. to do that, as it is a great part, and it's a great tradition of what the Canucks have done with the Canucks Place.
All right, preseason's over. That means preseason's over for us as well. Hope you're ready. It's go time.
Bring it, baby. Let's
go.
go.
All right, Jacob Lazar working double duty for all you guys today. I feel I was on Easy Street. I got to go to the game and then come in here and talk about it. You did Convo, and Jacob as well. So thanks to you guys, and thanks to everybody for checking out this episode of Rink Wide Vancouver.